Hi, I'm here with Wim Van Leuven, and Wim's going to tell us a bit about Big Data Belgium. So you actually just introduced the Big Data Belgium user group. What's the main purpose of this group, and what's the history of it?
The history is quite easy. It's a user group, so it started out with 6 people of us, looking at these technologies, discussing them, and finding that we lacked information, documentation, and most of it, experience. So we got together, it was about 2010, and we discussed why don't we start a user group about it and start sharing this information we gathered. And then, I think in the midst of 2011, about that time, we started our first meetup, and we got together with about 20 people discussing technologies, topics, white papers, things like that.
How successful is BigData.be in Belgium? Is there anything exciting that you want to share about it?
Well, what I think is particularly exciting is that it's a steady growth. So we started with a bunch of people, and right now we're about 450 after 2 years and a half, without actually doing a lot of promotion for it. So it's steadily growing, and what's most interesting is that the active member count is growing steadily as well. So I think that's people are actively participating, and that's the most exciting part of it. Obviously, we had a few kind of high-level meetups where some well-known developers or people from the States are coming over, and then we see in the member count obviously high spikes of participants. They are attracted to the stars of the big data world. But what's most interesting to me is that we have quite an active growth in each meetup.
So what's in store? When's the next meetup, and who's going to be talking at it?
Next meetup is within 2 weeks, 31st of October. Who's speaking is a bit difficult because it's an unconference, so we make up an agenda on the spot and discuss what we think is interesting at that moment.
What is a typical member of BigData.be?
As a user group, it used to be very technical, so there's really the technicians and the hackers being there. Throughout time, we saw that the more of the business type of people got attracted as well, and the consultants doing also from data warehousing and business intelligence. And we got more questions about, well, let's skip some technology and just discuss business problems and things like that. So we see a drift in focus and in attention, but it still is a user group.
As a representative of BigData.be, you obviously have an opinion about the adoption of big data in Belgium. So can you tell us something about that?
It's growing. You see the interest growing. It's being hyped as well by analysts. So all the CIOs are looking into it. So that is great because it gives attention to the subject. It makes it difficult to make good choices. But we see more and more real-life cases being done. So that makes it particularly interesting for us as we can attract more people effectively using the technology.
Apart from BigData.be, what do you do professionally?
I'm an independent software consultant. That's one part, and the other side with Dan Gerrits, a colleague here of mine, we're trying to bootstrap a startup on a personal data cluster, so that's quite interesting to do.
What is the single most exciting thing that you're working on right now?
A personal data cluster, obviously. It's really hands-on, doing big data at the hardware level, but also at the software level. Provisioning software onto it, and that's 3D printing is included, so that's a very interesting topic.
And finally, how do you like DAM Data so far?
It's great. It's a great vibe. People are interested. A lot of speakers, very interesting speakers. So it's really cool, and especially the networking, talking to people.
Okay, great, Wim. It was great to talk to you, and enjoy the rest of DAM Data.
Thank you.